Hi everyone, it's me again. Squish Gang is present, and today we are beginning what might become a new series on the channel, which I have entitled Canadian Menaces. Because I've made frequent jokes on this channel for those of you who are the dedicated few that have been around since the beginning, or people who have seen my live streams on other channels. I make a lot of jokes about the fact that so many iconic internet menaces are actually Canadian. Iconic internet memes. In this case, we're starting with Chantel Marie. We're going to quote Zachary Michael here. Chantel Marie, Chantopolis, Big Beautiful Me, Foodie Beauty. This is Chantel Marie, a Canadian mukbang channel called Foodie Beauty. Another list of potential Canadian medicines on the roster would be Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson, Jay Station, Ted Cruz. I can definitely find more, like, in the family vloggy channel, probably. Oh, Catherine McBroom, another one. So we got lots of options here, because a lot of people think that the people with the accents like this, the American accents, only the Americans are the ones stirring the trouble. Nah, the Canadians be going incognito on that one. Oh, before we get into that, also the Nelk Boys. The Full Send guys, they're from here too, from Toronto, apparently. Okay, now we get trigger warnings. Discussions of fat phobia, domestic and other forms of abuse, racism, sexual health, as well as lightly touching on ableism, but not in none of these are, except for the potentials of abuse, are super in depth or anything like that. There's a whole community of channels called reaction channels that react to the Gorls.
Hi guys, Alex here. Welcome back to Girl Talk.
Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and somewhere under that pile of blankets is my dog Potato, Judy's.
Hi Annie Buns, how are you today? I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Charlie. Please consider subbing before you exit this video.
Hi guys, hi everybody. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are good. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
The Gorls consist of anyone affiliated or consisting of Amberlynn Reed, Life by Jen, Foodie Beauty, or Amy's Life Journey, or arguably the 1,000 Pound Sisters, Tammy and Amy Slayton. So we're going to talk about, like I said, Foodie Beauty today. A little bit of some of the relationships she's had with reaction channels as well. There is a reason there's a whole community dedicated to this universe. It is a lot. Most people, what happens is they dip their toes in the Amberlynn Reed pool and then get the arguable squid tentacle of the YouTube algorithm wrapped around their ankle and they get yanked underneath. And that is what happened to me. This is something that I have engaged in a shameful amount, arguably. But I have an advantage over all the reaction channels. Chantel lives where I grew up. The Ottawa-Gatineau area of Canada. And my boyfriend and I play a game where we will point out where Chantel is based on the background and based on what we can see through the windshield of her car. That's been a fun thing. So there's a bit of like stuff that Chantel talks about that like people don't realize or don't pick up on because they have no idea where she is or what she's doing. It's a fun time. So we're gonna crack open a brewski for the boys and get into some Canada lore. Now, there are 3 parts of the video. We are going to have a lighter one, too, by the way, lighter content for this potential series. Part 1 is who is Foodie Beauty and what is a little bit more about the Gorl-verse. Gorl spelled Gorl, like how Gru would say it. Number 2, problematic past of the Foodie Beauty Chantopolis Big Beautiful Me Foodie Beauty channel. And part 3, her relationship with a man named Nader Elshami. I'll put his little channel card thing, or like the little picture, just because he's apparently Egyptian to what I recollect, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, I wanted to say I'm not going to have every clip or receipt because Chantel streams like a 9-to-5 job, but like 7 days a week. Like Chantel is on live stream all of the time. I can almost guarantee right now, if I checked, she's on live stream. So she's actually not. However, The last stream ended 10 minutes before me recording. So she'll take like a couple hours off in the middle here and there. But more or less constantly streaming. So this is some of the most unhinged internet behavior I have ever seen, and we'll get into that a little bit more in the recent issues. So part 1, who is Foodie Beauty? So what we're going to get into is a little bit of rhetoric right out the gate as well. We're going to discuss what's called the rhetoric of dramatization, which is something that the rhetorician Kenneth Burke talks about. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because the lives of the Gorls are often called seasons by reaction channels. They're called seasons, episodes, or eras. So what people do, was particularly with Amberlynn Reid, for example, is they'll call it the Destiny era, the Crystal era, Becky era. Now it's Wifey era. Her name hasn't been confirmed, the girlfriend, Amberlynn Reid's current girlfriend. Most people have an idea, but I'm not gonna dox anybody. And with that comes Chantel, who would arguably have the BB era, the single era, the Hohen season, and the Nader era as far as what's going on right now, or seasons. Because of that, I want to read something. I have an actual book. I never have the print copy. I'm always on my iPad because I don't like print books. I can't write in them. I know you can, but it irks me. It makes me uncomfy to write in the book, so I have them tabbed. So we're going to do 2 excerpts here. So the first one, this is just the definition of dramatization. So look, it's like a real book. Okay. Before people come for me that I don't know stuff. Dramatization is a method of analysis or corresponding critique of terminology designed to show how the most direct route to the study of the human relations and human motives is via methodological inquiry into cycles or clusters of terms and their functions. So in people who don't spend hours reading these books' terms, that just means that dramatization is a set of terminologies and systems to kind of describe how people live in their day-to-day life and how people do so in a way perceived by other people. An act of dramatization is even you watching the video and you perceiving the arguments that I make, from as far as my body language, my use of language, my accent, my location, my visual, like how I look like this, the fact that I always keep these in the background. That's because the Squishmallows are supposed to kind of resonate a positive vibe and a comfort. That's why I keep them. I also really enjoy them, and I wanted something fun in the background because, so you can see, my room looks kind of government building chic. Yikes, doesn't look very nice vibes. So I give something in the background to kind of make it more exciting. I do move in a couple months, so it will change, but I'll try to figure out a way to keep the Squishmallows in the background. I might have to get like one of those little carts and leave them in. The dramatistic approach is implicit in the key term act. Act is thus a terministic center from which many related considerations can be shown to radiate, as though it were a God term from which the whole universe in terms is derived. I have talked about God terms time and time and time again. That is a term from rhetorician Richard Weaver. God term just kind of means a term used specifically in a way to invoke typically a positive reaction, because your devil term is your antonym to your kind of God, your opposition. God terms in the internet, for example, would be clout, or in Chantel would be bees, or devil terms could be canceled culture. You know, things like that. Doxing would be another devil term in internet culture, but some people will consider them all God terms in the sense of that they hold a lot of power. It just kind of depends on how it's defined in a certain set of circumstances, but typically devil term bad, big word invoking, and God term good, big word invoking of a certain emotion. The dramatistic study of language comes to a focus in a philosophy of language and a symbolicity in general. The latter provides the basis for a general conception of man and human relations. The present article will consider primarily dramatistic concern and resources, limitations, and paradoxes of terminology, particularly in connection of inputting the motives. So this is just, again, talking about like interactions of language and how people perceive things in regards to day-to-day relations. This is what I was talking about in my last video, that I don't actually study psychology. It's more of like complex social linguistics theory. All it is I just don't do any math, which is actually kind of a shame because I liked math. So another thing I want to read about is the definition of a scene, because I think this is really interesting. So obviously, for instance, the concept of a scene can be widened or narrowed, conceived as in terms of varying scope or circumference. Thus, an agent's behavior act might be thought of as taking place against a polytheistic background, or overall scene may be brought of as grounded in one god, or a circumference of situations that can be narrowed to naturalistic limits, such as in Darwinism, or can be localized in such terms as Western civilization, Elizabethism, capitalism, D-Day, 10 Downing Street, or this main ride, or so on, endlessly. So in the case of this, I know this sounds like I'm just like digging so deep. This centered ideology or centered scene would be the Gorl-verse and the idea of the internet train wreck. And I was reading through this book this morning when I was scripting the video, and I just felt like this was such a good description of like what is drawing people to this niche and what is drawing people to this person and doing things like buying memberships to Bees with Chantel. Bees? How do you define bees? One second. We need a cameo from you, please. Come in. Can you pretty please, for the audience, define the word bees?
Bees?
Speak into the microphone, please.
Squat
down into the camera, into the microphone, please.
Oh, God. So a bees would be going to get food outside of your house, but usually in a menacing manner somehow.
Often slightly inebriated.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
On like illegal drugs. Or legal ones.
Thank you.
But like sometimes illegal.
Okay, that is all. Thank you. I couldn't figure out how to define a bees.
Okay. You're
Bye.
welcome.
So now we're going to get into the audience. This would include, in this case, the reaction channels. And I want to get into the rhetorical idea of of how people perceive Chantel, not Chantel's perception towards other people, which is what we were just discussing. So here is the audience perception, which would be how people go towards Chantel. This would include things like reaction channels as well. And the niche, what are they called? Dedicated Beezers. Something Beezers, that's what the members. So this is what Kenneth Burke describes. Though a drama is a mode of symbolic action, so designed that an audience might be introduced to act symbolically in sympathy with it, insofar as the drama serves this function may be studied as a perfect mechanism, composed of parts of moving in mutual adjustment to one another like clockwork. So this is the relationship. Because, okay, so if you go to Young Dumb Honeybun's channel or Alex Shook's channel or Zachary Michael's channel, they'll often talk about like how Amberlynn and Chantel might try to copyright strike people or copyright claim channels, and they'll bring up the fact that without reaction channels, there's a really good chance that Amberlynn and Chantel would kind of be nothing. This is because the two kind of work in tandem to stir up a lot of drama, and in reality, at least like for speaking Amberlynn Reed's content, it's quite dull. With it's kind of just a phenomena of trolling cycles and different acts of thought. If you guys want, I could do an Amberlynn Reed video. I just know that like this community gets pretty defensive if you don't know everything that's going on at all times. And frankly, because I work this job, I have another job, and I go to school, I can't really like dedicate as much time as people who make this their career could do necessarily. So let's continue. The paradox is not unlike that which happened in metaphysics, when a mystical view of the world as a manifestation of God's purpose prepared the way for a mechanistic view, since the perfect representation of such a design seems to machine in perfect order. This brings up further consideration that mechanical models might best be analyzed, but not as downright anti-dramatistic, but as fragments of the dramatistic. For whatever humanist critics might say the dehumanization effect of the machine, it is characteristically human invention conceived by perfecting of some human aptitudes, the elimination of others. So this is just going on about kind of the idea that the center of the dramatic act and the systems in place are kind of why people are so intertwined together in a niche such as this one. And there's this constant back and forth. The Gorl community, the drama channels, and so like the Gorl-verse, which would be Pete, Nader, Chantel, Dee Dee, Amberlynn, Becky, Destiny, Crystal. Not all of them have online accounts though. So let's just say Nader, Pete, Chantel, Becky, Amberlynn Reed, Life by Jen, and Amy's Life Journey. Amy's Life Journey seems to be off of YouTube though, but regardless, how these people work in tandem, and there's the act of the trolling, the actor or dramatizer, which is going to be Amberlynn or Chantel. Then there's the audience and the direct and indirect functionality between the audience and the actor, which would be your direct action would be your Zachary Michael, Alex Shook, Young Dumb Honeybun, Charlie Gould reaction channels. And then you have your general audience, which would be people like me, I guess, until just now. Chantel Marie herself is a 37-year-old mukbang channel from Ottawa, Ontario. So Chantel, at the very beginning, actually did Lush and beauty hauls, but then became more of a crude mukbang channel, who became famous for her what's called TMI stories. Those videos were really gross.
So I thought I would just do a video for you guys because I'm eating my cheat day. I was lonely one night. I was living by myself, so I got desperate and called one of my lovers. I won't say which one, but I might not even remember which one. Oh yes, I do. And anyway, this is bad. This is like low-key prostitution, but I offered him foreplay if he would come over and bring me a couple of Whoppers. I think it was Whopper Wednesday, and he got there, and I was so mad. It gets worse. I was so mad and pissy that he forgot the zesty sauce for my onion rings that I only let him squeeze my...
And in 2021, particularly around like I think springtime, Foodie Beauty's channel turned into essentially a live streaming channel, which no longer consisted of those well-adored mukbangs and pre-recorded content. In the live streams, Chantel began to kind of have more direct more direct fights with the reaction channels, particularly starting with Charlie Gold, which then some racist comments kind of came out of that whole ordeal, which we will talk about after. Foodie Beauty is Foodie Beauty's been like picking and choosing the girls to support. Was once affiliated with Life by Jen, then had a huge fight with her through this live stream era. Is still affiliated with Amberlynn Reed and seems to have been the whole time. They kind of call each other besties. And then you get this famous community post with Amberlynn Reed who calls Nader a narcissistic asshole, and then we got this thing going on. But that's a whole other moment in history. But Amberlynn Reed is the biggest creator in the Gorl-verse with 200,000 subscribers, roughly. While many might think criticisms of Chantel would be weight related, and Chantel likes to try to put forward the idea that said criticisms are only weight related, in reality, most of Chantel's criticisms align with the idea that they make bigoted claims, ableist claims, racist claims, are dangerous, and are resentful. Dangerous in this case is because Chantel has allegedly been proven to be driving high on live stream. You'll see her smoking on live stream. A lot of them end up being age restricted 18 plus for this exact reason, and will then get into a car, obviously not long enough after consuming these substances to drive, and go to Nader's house or something, which is why people can kind of like prove it differently, because Chantel live streams her whole life. And if I do have any clips, by the way, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, they will be done through compilation channels likely, just because I don't have the time to sift through everything. Part 2, Foodie's problematic past and leading up to the present. Foodie Beauty became famous for the TMI story times. One of the first ones that was super problematic is actually the what's called a French lover story time, which was a story that Chantel essentially described that they were in a sexual relationship with a man who was in or approaching his 40s while she was 16 years old. Unfortunately, in Canada, the age of consent is 16 unless there is a position of power. If this was the case at the time for Chantel, I'm not 100% sure. That's just how the law stands now. And we also know that Chantel was dating BB more or less at the start of the channel, who she got with after cheating on her fiance Pete. And BB broke up with Chantel because, if I remember correctly, Chantel cheated on BB as well. And then in the live stream era, as I mentioned, Chantel got in a fight with a reaction channel called Charlie Gold. Charlie Gold is an interesting character. A lot kind of criticize her delivery. She's very crude, makes very mean comments, almost kind of like petty picking on certain things, or says that Chantel is going to go to prison, and says she looks like an egg, and all these kinds of things. Very like nitpick, like I don't want to say like, I don't know, it's just very inflammatory, I guess, in the way that Charlie Gold delivers. But to each their own, I suppose. Anyone can really do what they want. Chantel is also like, in how Chantel acts and talks about Charlie Gold, they kind of go back and forth at the same level, or however, Charlie Gold's a little bit more clever, to be fair, but Charlie Gold is Haitian, and Chantel compared Charlie Gold to Cole, like the Rock? Is it a rock? And essentially made a play on words with Charlie Gould's name. I'm not gonna say these things because that's just ridiculous.
I knew she was a criminal. I knew it. I can tell. I know a criminal when I see one. Charlie Cole, stop playing the race card. Charlie Cole, you'll be going right back to the slammer where you belong. And another mugshot will be circulating. Seriously, you don't want to fuck with me. My fans are not shit people. You are the company you keep. If you're a piece of shit, you're gonna attract flies. I don't know if it's her. How is there no way it was Charlie? They sound very Charlie-ish. Not stupid. I have a feeling it's not even her. It sounds like her. I don't think it's her because there was a quote by Sun Tzu in it. I have no proof. It really sounds like her. Whatever, I'm not gonna sweat about it. Thank you guys for the super chat. Made like close to $200 like every live stream so far, pretty much.
People like to point out, who are you to criticize another obese person while you have not even reached your weight loss goal? Okay. Who is she to criticize a mother when she's not one currently?
Kiss my fat ass, honestly. Like,
you can't even bend over,
it's just ridiculous. Like, seriously.
Your knees would give out in a heartbeat.
And Chantel's made other somewhat racist or racially inflammatory claims, such as saying that she will go to Jamaica and get a Jamaican man, fetishizing other races, and even called Nader Jafar because he's Egyptian. And at the beginning of 2021, though, when she started Chantel's early to mid 2021, when Chantel started seeing Nader, would call him Dom because of the, that interaction, but would make claims like that he would push her out of her comfort zone and show bruises on her chest.
So the Egyptian guy is very, is it like, I don't know if it's like all Egyptian men, but he's very fucking pushy, like bossy, like tells me what to do. I did go over to the Egyptian guy's house. So this guy is fucking crazy. Like, I ended up tiptoeing out of there when he fell asleep. He's kind of really rough, like he was rough at one point. But because I'm on blood thinners, I mark up really, really easy. So my breasts are like full of marks. And I was like, how do I hide that from Nicholas? No, I'm just joking. I'm so bad. Oh my God.
But I recommend avoiding him forever just because he seems clingy in an annoying kind of way.
Yeah, I know, but you just have to stink out after, that's all. Do you think he's abusive? I think he's just...
tough to tell. I mean, that kind of possessiveness.
So this started to kind of imply that there were some issues going on with this new character. But at the same time, Chantel would be then inebriated on different substances, even admitted to an addiction to Coca-Cola, and ended up saying things like the R slur, and then getting mad at people for being sensitive or forcefully politically correct.
Snowflake, exactly. And if you don't like it, then leave. My mom and I bees together tonight for her B-day. Happy birthday, Melanie! You watch Tara. Pammy Chick, welcome to Very Important Beezers. Ready, set, bees! Yeah, open chat? Obviously not. But I like a lot of you aren't members, but... Oh, Kristen, well, then see you later. They've said a lot worse. They've said a lot worse. I don't even want to hear it. Hate me for saying it all you want. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Chrissy, bye. They've been out for a while. Everyone used to say the R word. Everyone's offended by everything these days. Everything.
Chantel even went as far as pushing that narrative, and then other channels such as French Fry Girl began to criticize Chantel, and then Chantel accidentally doxes French Fry Girl's phone number in a live stream. And when called out in the past for making racist comments, Chantel would claim that would kind of pull along the lines of the card of, because I dated BB, a black man, I'm not racist. Now we're going to get into part 3 of the video, which is specifically the relationship that Chantel has had with Nader. Now, Nader is pretty obviously an abusive person, but arguably so is Chantel. So this is where it gets kind of morally difficult to have these types of conversations. And this relationship was diluted into one of the most unhinged behavior, some of the most unhinged behavior I've ever seen. There was a live stream. So Chantel, okay, well, I'll have to start. So back last spring when Chantel started seeing Nader, we heard that he was selling certain illegal substances, which then Chantel got addicted to some of those illegal substances and would stream obviously inebriated, even some alleging that it could be perceived that Chantel had consumed some of these substances on live stream. That is alleged. I can't say for certain. Nobody really can. Nobody was there. And it was like not in full frame of the camera. So once Chantel began to talk about her sexual experiences with this Nader person, calling him dumb, and would show the marks on her body, would even say things like he wouldn't really let me leave. He would freak out if I tried to leave. I'd have to sneak out in the morning. Certain behaviors that were coining that there was a certain suspicion that should be had with this character. Even though they were constantly breaking up and fighting, and Chantel would allege that he would even go as far as to hit her sometimes, they got back and forth. They got together a bunch of times, and Chantel made Nader a YouTube channel that he makes cooking videos such as the infamous pineapple upside down cake and therefore has platformed an arguably abusive person. Now, with this in mind, Chantel is not someone with the greatest platform either, so take with that what you may. But Chantel at the same time is paying or has paid a lot of Nader's bills, rent, and other such finances, bought him an iPad. And then now with this new platform, Nader is reaching out to other people, which is kind of giving him like a scope of access that's dangerous for someone of his character. While Chantel also is arguably not the best person, having two people like that is worse than having one person like that with this access, if that makes sense. Nader, like, is so... God, like, this is so wild. Okay, so like at one point, Nader got chlamydia, gave it to Chantel, and then said that even though Chantel saw his areas and saw that they were obviously not doing well, and somehow decided to copulate anyways, and Nader tried to say that he got this STI from Chantel not showering often enough. So then Nader would have the channel and he began live streaming, and people would go to the channel to watch the live streams, to watch him talking about Chantel, because Chantel would constantly be talking about Nader every time they broke up on live stream. And Nader wanted to have a voice to match the level of conversation that Chantel was having. Chantel even made this like really weird goodbye video to when, which the only reason why Chantel decided that they could potentially break up, which they've still apparently gotten back together in the past couple weeks since I've started this whole process, because a new character came into the Gorl-verse, a new actor, if you will, named Didi, who allegedly Nader has known for 10 years, but a lot think met through the channel in reality. Now that that has come into place, Chantel made this like really weird 2-minute long goodbye video that had a bunch of text messages in it, kind of proving that Chantel wasn't crazy to say that they were in a relationship, but also that Nader was not a good person in this relationship, trying to kind of vindicate herself, despite the fact that Chantel is not of the best character herself, right? So I'm going to put a couple clips in. I actually got it before it was deleted. This video was put up. Okay. This is the unhinged. Oh my God. Okay. So Chantel is in Ottawa. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Ottawa is in Ontario. Ontario is right next to the province of Quebec. The province of Quebec is the French province. That's why I sound funny when I say certain words. Some of y'all coming for me because I say certain things. I said a couple Spanish words once. It sounds really weird because I say them in French pretty much. But you have Quebec. See, I don't say Quebec. Like the super English people, I say Quebec. So Quebec and Ontario are next to each other. And there's like a couple of bridges that go from Ontario to Quebec. There's just a river that kind of separates the two of them, okay? And Chantel lives, I don't want to dox her too much, but Chantel lives, I'm guessing about 25 to 30 minutes from Nader that you cross these bridges. And a lot of the commentary channels or reaction channels will actually comment about something about this bridge. They call it the Green Bridge or something like that. So you cross this bridge and you go from the English province of Ontario to the French province of Quebec, which is where Nader lives. This is relevant, okay? Trust me. So Chantal one day decided that she was completely done and wanted to go get her stuff from Nader's house. Chantal uses a CPAP machine. The CPAP machine was at Nader's house, okay? So I get on, I'm starting to watch this live stream because this is like, I'm getting like, my Twitter's blowing up. People are like, what is happening? And I'm like, I need to see. So then Chantal's driving to Nader's house, ends up in this area called Gatineau. So the thing is, Gatineau is in multiple sections. There's Gatineau, Elmer, Hull, and Buckingham. He lives in Gatineau. This is relevant because Gatineau is like, okay, in the 4 sections of, Gatineau, Hull, Elmer, Buckingham. Yeah. In the 4 sections of Gatineau, as the overarching thing, the part that's always been Gatineau, this is so confusing, I feel like, to Americans. Oh my god, okay. The part that's always been Gatineau is one of the more French areas. Because if you live in Elmer, for example, Elmer's quite English. It has a quite large English population. Hull is like, you'll get a decent amount. The college I went to for Cégep was an English college, and that was in Hull. Dee speaks French. Okay, so Chantal goes to Nader's house. Dee there. They're cooking or something, and then now, Chantal's live streaming this whole thing. I would only assume so that if Nader's aggressive or violent or any altercation occurs, that people can see it so he won't act out. So Chantal goes to the door, knocks on the door. Nader's like, undelete my video, because Chantal has access to Nader's YouTube account because she's like sugar mommying him or something. But so because Chantal deleted a couple of live streams, I think, out of like being petty or whatever. And then she knocks on his door, okay? And she's like, give me my shit back. And then Nader's like, nah. Undelete my video, and then close the door in her face.
You're gonna give me the stuff right away.
Give me my stuff.
What?
I want to. I'm here to get my shit. You said I can.
Police, I give it to you.
You said I can come get my stuff.
Give it to you.
You said I can come get my stuff.
Exactly.
So go let me get my shit then.
Where's my video?
What video?
Oh, I need my live stream.
I didn't delete your fucking live stream.
You're gonna fucking lie in my face.
Are you gonna lie in my face?
You're gonna lie in my face.
You lied in my face this morning.
Listen, I don't like to lose my temper because I be bad when I lose my temper, and I don't want to go there. What you did, you need to fucking go sit down by yourself, think about what you're doing.
I just want my CPAP machine.
Chantal calls the Gatineau police to get her CPAP machine back. Now, the Gatineau police are French, and there's a certain accent native to Quebec that the French people have. When they speak English, they sound like this when they're talking to people. It's this weird inflection that a lot of the pausing, and there's a lot of rounded consonants in English. So a lot of the American channels can't really understand what the police are saying. So they keep calling it the breath machine. So you see these French cops arguing with Nader because Nader's saying that it's illegal that Chantal deleted the video. Nader is also live streaming, but I think he gave the phone to Dee and she thinks that she muted it, and you can hear the whole conversation with the police.
Okay, can I turn it off? Yes. Okay, guys, hold on.
Nader?
Turn it, yeah.
Nader? If the cops come, I have to shut the live off.
Just make it mute. Guys, stay with me 1 minute. So I put you off the camera. Thank you. I mute you guys.
So you are on YouTube, on Facebook, on something?
Sorry?
You are on Facebook, right?
I was on YouTube. I was recording a video.
Okay, what are you cooking today?
Beef and French fries.
Salad. That's gonna be good.
Thank you.
We are here because I hear we have an argument with your ex or something like that.
She was not my ex, it was my friend.
Your friend?
Yes.
Okay, so no relationship with her?
At all.
Okay, she's here because she wants his breed machine or something like that.
She got one here.
Yes.
And she actually, she asked to come get it, and I don't tell her no, you cannot get it. But before she come get it, she go on my live stream in my videos and delete all of them. And this is not legal act she actually did.
Okay.
She go on my YouTube and delete my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is not legal.
Okay, I think you can go to civil court for that. Okay, it's not criminal.
And also, if you can check,
I'm just
you
here
can check
to
her name.
make
You can
sure.
ask her. She always all her live stream here, my friend. All day, all 7 months, talking shit about me, insulting me with her roommate, with everybody. I can leave Tell her, shut up, what you need. Say me what you need. She keep talking and talking and talking and talking.
Okay.
For something happen and something lies, she don't even care.
Okay.
But to come to my YouTube and delete my stuff, this is my work. This is how I make money.
Yeah,
to delete my videos, that's not legal actually. And I never tell her.
Ouais, je veux pas le fermer à l'intérieur son vidéo là. Donc merci. So okay.
And I never tell her you're not allowed to take your stuff. I never did. You can watch her own live stream and you can tell what I say and what she say. But now this I need a restraining order against this person because this person is crazy.
Okay. I'm just really here to have his breath machine and I'm gonna go.
Yes, but I need a restraining order against you because this doesn't happen.
What?
Restraining order against her. I want
Okay,
to
but for that.
Oh, she's not allowed to contact me anymore.
Yes, but for that you have to go to the boss.
But can you tell her you're not allowed to come even my stairs?
I can say to her you don't want her
I
here.
want her here, yes.
Okay. But for that you have to go to the police station, take a report about that. Okay. I don't think tonight we're gonna come solve all the problems here. Okay. So I think you have something you want to do on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. So I think you want to do your cash now, right now.
Yeah.
So
and she make me miss like $500 a day.
Yes.
I work all day for nothing.
I'm just here to make sure she's gonna go. So if I have the breed machine, she's gonna go. Okay. So can you go take the breed machine, bring me, and
I never tell her and she's not gonna take it. This is the problem. I can't go with you now. I never tell her you cannot take it. Tell me time. But she go delete my videos, my stuff, and come to bug me.
Yes.
I need my stuff now, but you delete your stuff. It's not fair. It's not even logical.
So I'm gonna do a report about the situation tonight. Okay, I'm gonna say that you're cooperative with us. Explain the situation that she came here and bug you in your.
Always. I can't search her name. Her name Chantal Marie. Since her name is YouTube. What she do in her life talking about me.
Okay. So I'm gonna explain that, and that's it for me. I hope she's not going back here.
My friend who is with me since the vote number.
Yes.
I will use it to add the restraining order. Right?
DG pour le numéro de dossier. But
if you can tell her that verbally, just please do it live.
Only a judge can give you a restraining order. Okay? So we're gonna do the report tonight, but on your side, go to the police station, explain what's.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. She has
what
mental health problems, so I know she's sick.
But just
I don't like to be charged when somebody's sick. In the same time, I need you away from me.
Yeah, I understand that, okay? But I cannot just give some condition to someone, okay? A judge can give some condition, okay? So the restraining order, it's only a judge. That must be approved by a judge, okay? So this report is only for what's happened tonight, okay?
Thank you.
So thanks, and have a good night.
You
Have a
too.
good food.
Thank you.
What's your YouTube channel name?
My name?
The YouTube channel.
Nader Shami, my name.
You in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, go check it out.
I'm gonna put on screen the dot jots of what I think they were saying in French. Just because if any of the like Chantal fanatics are vibing out here, je parle français, je suis québécoise, je veux faire la tradition. So the tradition is translation, I'll do the tradition. Right there. So you can see the vibes. Because I feel like that's just something I wanted to add in because I feel like I'm special or something. I'm a special snowflake. There's this interaction occurring between the two of them all on live stream. And people were calling it the custody battle for the CPAP machine. So after that altercation occurred, Nader's like, we are done. And he went with Dee to Montreal for a week. Nader's trying to move to Montreal and get a new job and not be dependent on Chantal anymore because YouTube doesn't really make you enough money, okay? I'm going to be super frank with y'all. What my highest performing video only made like 400 or 500 Canadian dollars. You can't live off of that in a month here. It's quite expensive to live in Canada. So obviously I have other videos. I'm not going to go through my metrics and everything, but I'm just saying like his views only getting like 8 to 10,000 views a video. And even with live streams, memberships, super chats, it's not enough to like fully live off of, I don't think, without like help from someone like Chantal, who has enough to live off of, trust me, with the views that they pull, with the amount of streaming and the memberships that they have. Now that they were allegedly done, Chantal just shaved her head and has been trying to get lace front wigs. while Nader's still trying to build a platform without Chantel, but then at the same time keeps trying to pull Chantel back into his life, because I think he is well aware that without Chantel, the YouTube platform is going to be essentially negligible because of the difference in views between live streams and when he talks about Chantel and just when he's cooking and his cooking videos. But the thing is, I feel like if Nader finds this, he's going to start threatening me in my comments. Or Chantel finds it, she'll start threatening me in my comments. So this is why I thought it was the best idea to start this series with Chantel Marie as my Canadian menace. Because that's more or less the fastest way possible of describing the life of Chantel Marie over the past couple of years. From someone who's also a Canadian and has lived in Ontario and Quebec and knows exactly what's going on with everything. Because Chantel will also do things like saying that like smoking weed and driving is normal in Canada. It's not. By the way, we still have laws. You get pulled over when you're inebriated, no matter what you're inebriated on. They have tests to see if you are too high to drive. If they feel like they can't administer the proper test, they will take you to the station. The Sûreté du Québec, the Gatineau Police, the Ottawa Police, the so there's Ottawa Police and there's called Ontario Provincial Police. There's two, like, imagine like I don't know if the United States does this, but let's say like you had like your LAPD and your California Police. Like there's two separate ones, and then there's like the super cops, which is like the RCMP. But then not every province has their own police system. Anyways, all of the people will test you for your substances, is what I'm trying to say. So this is Chantel will try to negate responsibility on the crux of an American audience, which I think is so interesting because they also only know her as like Foodie Beauty. But then I can kind of see who she's interacting with and where she's going and what she's doing, and she feels just like a regular kind of Canadian person. So I'm able to separate from this Foodie Beauty persona versus this Chantel Marie persona. However, I will say I've started saying beezing in my regular vocabulary. And thank you, Zachary Michael, because now I say diet sody and sody pop when I want to do things. But in conclusion, that is a summary and a little bit of rhetoric about Chantel Marie, Foodie Beauty. And I'm definitely going to be way wrong, more wrong than I feel like the caliber of the other reaction channels are. Let me know in the comments error that I have. My opinions, though, on Chantel and Nader both having abusive or creepy tendencies and then both being bad people is not something that I'm going to argue about, because that's just true, in my opinion, as far as like how I feel about it. You guys have a great one. Squish Gang says goodbye, and so do I. Let me know any other videos you'd like. Like, comment, subscribe. That would be iconic. And you guys have a great day. Bye.
Now we got Tim's Chili, the most underrated fast food item in the universe. The shit is so fucking good, I get it anytime I can. It used to be better, but it still hits harder than my nuts on your sister's face. S tier.